It is Beyond the Box Score 2.0 version. The boys are back.
Little blast from the past,
Star-Spangled Banter. Connor, you go first.
This is going to sound completely crazy.
Win me a few more games before you start dancing. That's all I ask.
That is the difference between being good and being great.
How about that segue right there, baby?
Forward bounce, just get it out of here.
You like that?
And they let the team down on Sunday. Last call.
Welcome, everybody, to Beyond the Box Score. I am your host today, Connor Priester. We are without Cole Johnson today. And season's greetings. It is Christmas Eve. Looking for, everything in the world to be right. It's Christmas. 2020 has been crazy. But we got a full slate of action of football starting tomorrow on Christmas Day, leading into Saturday. We got a 3-game slate Saturday, and then full slate Sunday, along with the Monday night game being Buffalo and New England. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to have kind of an abbreviated show today. We know everyone's got stuff going on with Christmas, family stuff, and everything like that. I want to keep it a little brief today, but kind of just go over what we normally cover on our Friday show. We know it's a Thursday, and we kind of didn't really do our Tuesday show either. It's been a jam-packed week indeed for all of us over here at Beyond the Box Score. So we're going to get right into it. Like I said, a couple guests coming on later. Should have Andrew Parks, hopefully Paul Barker, Kyle Powell, and everyone's favorite, James Misercola as well. So we're going to start right into it. They'll be joining us in a little bit, but Star-Spangled Banter, getting it off right. Always open it like this. I'm going to try and keep this one brief as well. So coming in, 11-win team, Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be all about them. All right. They've been on a roller coaster of a ride the last couple of weeks. And I don't want to be the one to say I told you so, but I told you so. A lot of people did as well. A lot of people have been critics, and a lot of people have been, trying to defend the Steelers, but you can't defend them anymore. There's no defending the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are not a good football team. At least right now, they are not a good football team. Big Ben, terrible. Right now, terrible. We'll go down as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, but right now, terrible. He's awful. He can't throw the football. He can't complete passes 5 yards downfield. And he looks like a fool throwing the ball 15 or more yards downfield. All right, Monday, before the game, Big Ben said he wants to return for another year. Get real. You're done. You're done. You look like someone's grandfather got lost and wandered onto an NFL football field. It's embarrassing at this point. All right, Big Ben, good dude, great player his whole career, but he's done. He's just done. He isn't on the same page with wide receivers, who are arguably one of the best wide receiver groups in the NFL. You're not on the same page. You got to figure it out. You are a veteran. You're supposed to be the leader in that locker room, and you are just failing your franchise. He's going to continue to set this franchise back year after year after year until he retires. He's going to keep setting them back. Who knows? I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. Maybe this injury, his elbow injury, it's still just nagging him. But remember when people were discussing him being the comeback player of the year? Oh, my God. I think that's completely out of the window now. He's the opposite of that. He should have stayed off the field. Duck Hodges could have beat the Bengals. Mason Rudolph could have beat the Bengals. Again, maybe I'm wrong. But again, Big Ben is going to continue to set this team back year after year. The franchise is going to go downhill. And not only is he going to set the entire franchise back, he's also going to cost someone their job, someone who's very good at their job. And that someone is Mike Tomlin. Because of Mike Tomlin's loyalty to Big Ben, he's going to leave him in as a starter. Even if he returns next year, he won't dare replace him. There's just no shot. And it's going to cost him his job. He's going to be fired, canned, cooked, see you later, because this old man won't call it quits. And it's a shame. Also, with the Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster, dude, this was just a bad idea from the start. You're not a 16-year-old kid. You shouldn't be on TikTok. It's grade A bulletin board material if you're going to be dancing on people's logos before the game. You're pressing teams off so bad that it just caused the Bengals to beat you. It's time to put the TikTok down, dude. Put it down. Leave it to the 14-year-olds to do the same dance and make more money in a year than I will in my entire life. It's embarrassing. Not only is it embarrassing, you can dance all you want, but on another team's logo, it's disrespectful to me. It's going to put a target on your back and just quit the children's games. It's pathetic. And it's nothing but bulletin board material. And you can attribute that loss to Juju. It's going to piss teams off. It's bulletin board material. That's all it is. But we're going to get into that a little bit more later. Star-Spangled Banter, over. can move on now to the top storylines. This is usually where Cole reads it off, but flying solo today, so I got to do it myself. So top storylines, just a couple. Kansas City last week narrowly beating New Orleans. It was kind of all Kansas City for the majority of the game, but Drew Brees kind of figured himself out a little bit. The running game got going. They started to make more plays. Defense kind of came up with some big stops. But we'll get into that once we bring everyone on. Next, Buffalo dominates Denver. Honestly, I didn't think that this was going to be what it was. This was an unbelievable showing by Buffalo. It was something that I don't think anybody really saw coming. Denver's defense has got. I mean, I made the claim that I thought they were going to run the ball, and honestly, looking at it, looking on paper and what the stats were and what the rankings were with Denver's defense, I truly thought that it was going to be Buffalo establishing the run again, kind of like how they did against the Chargers. But Josh Allen is just making a case for himself week after week why he deserves to be in the MVP candidate race, why he deserves to be in those talks, and just threw all over Denver. Wide receivers made plays. Defense came up with great stops, which I knew they would. And don't get me wrong, Drew Lock, I think, truly has made strides. The touchdown pass he threw to Noah Fant, I mean, that's big league stuff right there. I mean, the anticipatory route thrown to the back corner in a very tight window. It was great coverage by Matt Milano too. Or I believe it was Jordan Poyer. I'm sorry. And that's a big league play by Drew Lock. So, I mean, the broadcast team was kind of comparing Drew Lock having to make strides that Josh Allen did, and not to count him out because you could potentially maybe turn into maybe something like Josh Allen is doing right now, but we'll see. But Buffalo dominating Denver, that was big. Washington keeping it competitive against Seattle, I think that was big. I truly think that if Alex Smith and if Antonio Gibson were playing for Washington that day instead of Dwayne Haskins, which we'll get into in a minute as well, I truly think that they probably could have came away with a win against Seattle. And we're gonna get into Washington a little bit more when we do our predictions for this upcoming week. And last one, obviously Pittsburgh losing to Cincinnati. I mean, Big Ben, I think, had like 19 yards of passing or something like that in the first half. And at one point, he had like -7 yards on like 5 completed passes. I mean, it's just what their offense is used to running. They're trying to do just those quick hitters. And when they don't work, they really don't work. And it blows back and it blows up in their face. I mean, the run game got going a little bit. The defense is the only reason why that it was still close. And to me, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to be an 11-win team. Because you're not a playoff team. Not at all. The way that you're playing right now, you're looking at a first-round exit and a complete evaluation of what you are as a franchise. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. We got a couple fun segments, a little different variation of bumper bounce. But for right now, we are going to bring in our guests. We have James Misercola, Kyle Powell, and Paul Barker, all waiting to be brought in. So we're going to let them in now. Waiting for the friends to connect to audio. Paul, James, Kyle, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You got video?
It should be on.
All right, Paul, you got video. Paul's good. Waiting on James, waiting on Kyle to get their video going. You see that beautiful picture of James Misercola with Mike Francesa, his idol right there. There's James.
What's up? What's up?
How we doing, boy?
There he is.
Hey, how about you?
Good.
What's up, James?
Kyle, you there, bud?
He's too busy waiting for the Eagles to find another franchise quarterback.
There he is. Hey, Kyle strictly said today he doesn't want to talk Eagles.
Oh, all right.
So, boys, I have my first segment here. I know that you guys have probably watched a little bit of the show before, but so we do the bumper bounce once a week. So I'm gonna introduce. I have 6 different topics, whether they're players or teams. So I'm gonna ask you if you would put them on your naughty list or on your nice list. This is our Christmas themed podcast. Something that Cole wanted deeply. So I'm gonna start it off right now. Would you put Lamar Jackson on your naughty or nice list? Start with Paul.
Past couple weeks, I would say nice. He's been playing better as of late. But at the beginning of the season, I would say naughty. But since he's been playing better, I would put him on the nice list, I would say.
So you're saying he's one of those kids that, throughout all of 2020. All right, bye, Kyle. Throughout all of 2020, he was not too nice to the parents, and then he realized Santa was coming, so he had to get his act together.
Yeah, basically.
Nice. James, what about you?
Oh, I'm putting him on the naughty list. If you take the entire year, like just overall as like the compass, the entire year, I'd say naughty. And especially if you compare it to like last year, the MVP year, I'd say naughty.
All right. We're having some technical difficulties with Kyle. See if he can try and join again, and we'll get him back on. We'll run it back down through him as well once he gets back. Next topic: Cleveland Browns, naughty or nice? James.
Oh, nice. I mean, they've got 10 wins for the first time since 2007. If you're a Browns fan, regardless of what happens the rest of the way, you got to be absolutely ecstatic about that, especially with the dip they took last year. And it looks like with Stefanski, they finally got in the coaching situation. So, nice.
I would say definitely nice for me too. Baker Mayfield is definitely playing well, and he's got the running game behind him. Even without Odell, they lost Odell, and they still might win the division. I think they could very well win the division with Pittsburgh having 2 rough games to go.
And we're going to see once if Kyle can get everything working here. Kyle, you got us?
I do now. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'm just going to run it back real quick, abbreviated. So we do bumper bounce once a week, me and Cole. So we're doing a little Christmas themed version of that. I like the Christmas sweater. I think I've seen that probably every year for the last 5 years.
It's a tradition at this point. Is it a wolf or is it a husky?
Yeah. So instead of bumper bounce, we're going naughty or nice. So would you put Lamar Jackson on your naughty list or on your nice list?
Depends how you define naughty.
Bad.
Okay. Then he's been pretty nice. And I think Baltimore is somebody you don't want to run into early on in the playoffs because they're getting hot at the right time. December football is the most important football, and they've looked very good going into their most important stretch of the schedule.
And then the second one, we stick with that division. Cleveland Browns, naughty or nice?
Somewhere in the middle. Can I put them somewhere in the middle?
So they're not going to get the top of the line gifts from Santa Claus.
Sure.
Like the mid tier.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Good old Saint Nick. All right, boys, moving on to the next one.
Wait. What do you think?
Do you want my opinion? All right, I will put Lamar Jackson on my naughty list. I think recently he's definitely played a lot better since coming back from COVID. But I think as the whole year goes on, I mean, to be a quarterback in this league, you need to be a passer. He's not a passer. And so that's the one thing that I know Baltimore's offense completely runs through the running ability of Lamar Jackson, but you need to be able to throw the football. He's on my naughty list. Cleveland Browns are on my nice list. They're playing top-notch football right now. That offense is extremely dynamic, and the way that Stefanski can draw up trick plays and execute them properly whenever he wants, it's a weapon. The defense just kind of needs to hold its own because I think the offense has finally found its strides. They're a team that I would not want to run into in the playoffs. Next one, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, naughty or nice? Kyle, I'll let you start. It's a tough.
I call them naughty. Man. I mean, I struggled with it because they're a team that had obviously a lot of expectations going into the season. They had all-stars, all-pros, pro bowlers at every position on the field, especially on the offensive side of the football. The reason I struggle with it is because their game plan, I felt like, was kind of flawed from the start, because for a long ball offense to be run through Tom Brady, I thought was odd, but they still had the expectations and they still had big performances. They've had clunkers. I mean, they got throttled by Green Bay and I believe New Orleans. So they have their bad weeks mixed in there, but given the expectations, I think I would give them, I don't know, low B for the year so far, B minus. I mean, they're still going to make the playoffs. You know, they're going to have Raymond James and a chance to go to the Super Bowl in their own backyard. But
with fans,
given what,
with fans too in the stadium for the playoffs.
Okay, and fans, sure. Let's give them a B minus.
So I'm gonna build off that. I'm with you there with throwing them on the naughty list because me and Cole did a segment on this the other day. And I'm going to use just a random analogy. It's like taking a dog and trying to have him run a horse race. Like you took Tom Brady, who was used to running this certain offense in New England, and completely threw him into the fire, into something that he's not used to. And that's why you're seeing so much miscommunication still going into week 16 between him and his wide receivers. And the only guy that he seems comfortable throwing to is Rob Gronkowski. And that's because they've already built a rapport in New England. The defense at times looks like it can be top tier, but then at other times it looks like they just don't show up. They're a team that I don't necessarily trust. Ronald Jones is also very hit or miss. So they're on my naughty list. James, what do you got?
I mean, AB's on the team, so there's naughty right there. But I always felt, well, it really depends to me, like, how do you want to define, because Brady's on a 2-year deal with them. I always felt it was mostly going to be year one was going to be settling in, getting Brady comfortable, and then year two was going to be take the shot and go for it. So, I mean, but they're going to get in the playoffs. So, I mean, you have to be happy about that as a Bucs fan, because I'm pretty sure they have one of the longest, if not the longest, drought in the league, for the playoffs. So, I mean, I guess nice for that part. But, I mean, really it could be defined like what they do in the playoffs, because I always say just get in the playoffs and see what happens.
Paul?
I'm going to go naughty. They do have probably the best receiving core, I would say, in the whole NFL. But I'm going to go naughty because they've had some good games, but they've had some really bad games, like you guys talked about. They got smoked by Green Bay, smoked by New Orleans. They've had some very bad games, and they're not playing of what their potential should be, I think.
All right, next team. They're getting hot as of late. They still have that very small chance of playoffs. The Chicago Bears. Naughty or nice? Paul, I'll let you start.
I would put them on the naughty list. They've won their last 2 games, but before that, they were on a 5-6 game losing streak. They have a great defense still. They're still missing a few guys, but their offense, I don't see their offense like being very good and being able to make a run that they need to make the playoffs.
James, did you just switch jerseys mid
No. I had to plug in my laptop. Sorry.
You're wearing a different jersey. All right, James, what do you got for Chicago Bears?
Well, they don't have a franchise quarterback, so to me, that's naughty. I mean, you really can't. I don't believe you can win in the NFL either without a franchise quarterback or with somebody who just catches lightning in a bottle like Foles. I mean, but I did with the Eagles. I mean, ironically, but I don't believe they're doing that. With the Bears.
Kyle?
Can I just put them on the oatmeal list? I don't want to talk about the Bears.
All right.
I don't. Mitch Trubisky is exactly what he is. He is what we thought he would be. The 5-1 is a distant memory. And yeah, Paul, you were right. I believe it was 6 in a row they lost before falling to 5-7. David Montgomery is just, I don't know. He had that 100-yard game, I think, last week. So ironically, it looks bad talking. What?
He gets very hot and then very cold.
Sure, absolutely. But I mean, it's the Allen Robinson show on offense. And what more do you want to say? I mean, James was right. You don't have a franchise quarterback. Nick Foles in the Super Bowl in 2017 doesn't happen all the time. So if you're stuck in that middle ground, you either cut bait or you stick with this guy for 5-6 more years and you tread water.
And we knew that better than anyone with the Bills not having a franchise quarterback for so long.
It matters. It matters.
For sure.
He's still on a rookie contract. I'm pretty sure they haven't extended him long term. They have a chance to just start fresh.
Yeah.
But this recent run of a couple weeks of success may even extend Trubisky's life in Chicago, when in reality it probably should have been over by then because you know exactly what you have.
For sure, yeah, I'd put him on the naughty list. I think it's a little bit. It's too late to be making this push in the season. I think if they were playing the way that they have the last couple weeks, maybe during that bad losing streak, and maybe you get a win or two out of that, they definitely have a better shot. But I think it's too late for the Bears. This is a very random one, a name that we used to hear in Buffalo, but he's a sneaky best tight end in the NFL, or one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Logan Thomas. Naughty or nice?
Nice as hell, dude. I'm glad he's having this little resurgence. Honestly, like tight ends is a position where you see these late bloomers a lot. There's exceptions to the norm, like the George Kittles of the world and Travis Kelce taking the world by storm as soon as he stepped on a football field. But even talking local, like watching Zach Ertz grow, like a lot of what these guys struggle with getting to the NFL is like learning how to block a lot. Like a lot of them are good receivers, but that part of holding the line comes a little bit later in their careers, but like I think it's great. You know, I didn't know much about him when he was here in Buffalo, but I recognize the name. So yeah, good for him. Honestly, he's one of the key pieces on an offense that doesn't have a lot of stars. You know, it's Terry McLaurin, and then all of a sudden this year for Washington, it's become 1A, 1B almost, or maybe a high second option has become Logan Thomas. I think it's awesome.
James,
I definitely go nice. Oh, okay.
go ahead,
You
Paul.
can go. You can go.
I would. I was gonna say I was gonna definitely go nice too. He's the second best option on that offense. It's either Terry McLaurin getting the ball or Logan Thomas. So I think it's definitely a nice pick for me.
Anybody who's played in the league for a while and has 7 touchdowns in his career, with 5 of them coming this year, is absolutely nice for me.
Just quick stats right there, huh, James? What do you got? The iPad
If
next?
only I had a laptop next to me too, James.
Yeah.
Real quick on the draw. Yes, I'm going nice as well. I think it's really good that he's. I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of a glimmer of potential with him when he was in Buffalo, and we saw he was athletic. He's not the fastest guy, but he's athletic and he can go up and get grabs too. So I think that him being a key piece of that Washington offense is fantastic. I think he's going to be much better with Alex Smith throwing him the ball instead of Dwayne Haskins. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. Right now, it doesn't look like Alex Smith is going to play, but I'm putting him on the nice list. Now, last one, I had to do it. And when he watches it, I'm sure he'll have his own opinions. But the New York Giants, boys, James, I'll let you start. Naughty or nice?
I'm going to say naughty for one reason. They're in a horrible division and they haven't taken advantage of their opportunities. First of all, I don't think the Giants are a great team. They've had their moments, but they had a golden opportunity last week with Washington. I mean, they didn't play Washington, but Washington lost. They had the 2 head-to-head the wins, and they just absolutely laid an egg against Cleveland. And for that, I think they should be ashamed for themselves because, as we know in the NFL, and not just the NFL, but any sports, just get in the playoffs. You don't know what's going to happen. There's arguably no easier division to get into the playoffs this year than the NFC East. And, they had it, and it sure doesn't look like they're going to make it now. So, but I will say, Jabril Peppers, Michigan alum, he's had a very good year. So go blue. He was the best player in the Odell Beckham trade. I will say that.
All right, we're going to skip past that. Paul.
Naughty. I don't think I'm going to take one out of James's book. They don't have a franchise quarterback either. I'm not sold on Daniel Jones at all. He's had some good games, and then, I don't think he's 100% healthy either. That game when he came back and played 2 weeks ago, he couldn't move in the pocket. He shouldn't have got rushed back that soon. But when you're making a run at the playoffs, they got to do something. But I just don't see them making the playoffs or being able to be a good team with Daniel Jones at the quarterback.
And Kyle.
I'll give them a really low score on the nice, just to be a little different. I mean, they're holding their own, and they haven't had Saquon Barkley, but I guess the saving grace is they've kind of learned what they have in Wayne Gallman, much like Carolina's learned, maybe not to pay running backs too early because Mike Davis has been pretty solid as well. So, I mean, they're both in similar positions. They don't have franchise quarterbacks. I've kind of turned this into a Carolina point, but you look at Bridgewater and Kyle Allen and whoever's over there in Carolina anymore, it's kind of Daniel Jones and Colt McCoy, like these teams that are treading water. But at least, you kind of have you've learned a little bit more about your team. The defense is decent. And the fact that they're not taking advantage of a weak division, I don't really fault them for that because we expected them to have 3-4 wins anyway with Saquon, but at least you have a little more depth on the roster than you might have thought. So, sure.
Yeah, I'm going down the same route as well. Me and Cole have had plenty of talks about this. It's just the way that Joe Judge has kind of turned around at least the culture in New York. So I'm putting them on my nice list because just because the way that they're actually going out, they're being competitive. Yes, they're not taking advantage of the weak division that they have, but the way that they're being competitive, it's very reminiscent of last year's Miami Dolphins and look what the Dolphins are doing this year. So I think it's just this year is that one stepping stone to getting that much better next year. I do think at some point Daniel Jones is going to try and, I don't want to say be a top tier quarterback, but he's going to be a serviceable starting quarterback, especially once you get Saquon back in there and then you have the second punch with Wayne Gallman. I think that next year they're definitely going to be a team that could surprise a lot more people than they did this year being competitive. So they're going to be on my nice list. We're going to shift gears a little bit now. We all have pretty good understanding now with Kyle being in the local media. We're going to do a little bit of Bills talk. This is normally where me and Cole have our homer time where we talk about the Bills and Giants, but with Cole not being here, we're just going to do a little bit of Bills. So I just want just different thoughts. Josh Allen, legitimate MVP candidate or no?
I think
Oh,
right
yeah.
now in the voting, it's probably like third. I would say the way it's probably going to go is I would pick Aaron Rodgers first. I think he's having the best year out of any quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is having a tremendous year with the only real weapon around him is Devontae Adams. And that the tight end, I forget his name, but he's
Onion.
having a great year too. Yeah, he's having a great year. And then obviously Aaron Jones is a very good running back, but I think Aaron Rodgers is having the best year at quarterback, so I would pick him as my MVP. But Josh Allen is definitely up there. I would say top 3, top 5, easy.
James.
I would absolutely agree. He's absolutely an MVP candidate. And one, I know it almost always goes to quarterbacks, but one person who should absolutely be considered too is Derrick Henry.
Oh, Connor's gonna like you for that.
I've been preaching this on the shows the last 2
Oh,
weeks
I know.
on my MVP rant. I think that of all the people in the league right now, I think Derrick Henry is probably most deserving of the MVP award, but it will never happen because they will never give it to a running back.
He is the one running back in the league I absolutely hate facing, and that's out of respect to him. It's just his style of running is just
It's trying to stop a Mack truck that can go 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, Cole made the Mack truck line last week.
They've given it to a running back before, have they not?
Yeah, they gave it to, I think, Tomlinson.
John Alexander.
He was on Madden.
Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson as well, I think.
Did Sean Alexander not win it for Seattle?
I'm gonna let you fact check that.
I don't know. But he did. All right. So yeah, it's pretty rare, but
It's very rare. I'm not saying that it'll never happen because it has, but I'm saying especially in today's day and age, I don't know. But hey, I mean, the NFL made Josh Allen their background now on Twitter, so maybe they're finally leading towards Josh Allen maybe as an MVP leader. I don't know. Other thing, James, we got in this heated debate that they need to win playoff games. I don't know if you guys have seen clips or anything from the Herd with Colin Cowherd.
No, he's a clown.
I actually have grown to like Colin Cowherd a lot.
I don't. Okay.
I used to not like him too well, but I actually like him a lot now because I don't think he's as arrogant as he was, and he's actually more funny.
Well, I feel like he's wrong more than Mike Francesa, and Mike Francesa was wrong all the time. So I mean that.
Well, you're never going to be right in this business ever. You're never going to be always right.
All right.
I mean, hell, I went like 6-10 on predictions 2 weeks ago. I mean, I know.
Yeah, but I'm talking yeah. Go ahead.
I know I'm not working for Fox Sports, but I mean, at least I should be doing a little bit better than that. But go ahead.
Well, I just say it's his predictions. Remember, he said Gase was going to be leading the Jets to the AFC Championship game in 2 years. I mean, stuff like that, just absurd. I know that's what they get paid for is clicks, but I mean.
But going off of what I was talking about, he has a bet now with Nick Wright.
He's a clown too.
Nick Wright is a clown, and I've gone off on him before. So their bet is if the Bills win 2 or more playoff games, Nick Wright has to get doused in ketchup and mustard like Pinto Ron does at Bills tailgates. If they don't, then Colin Cowherd has to get doused in ketchup and mustard. So we talked about how they need to have a playoff win. I think at this point, James, it is becoming more and more and more evident that it needs to happen, but I think it's also becoming more clear that it's going to happen. I want your thoughts on that.
I agree. Well, it also depends on the matchup too in the first round, but I absolutely agree. It's to me, I've said this before, just getting there this year is not good enough. It's time to stop being, yes, I'm excited they won the division. That was awesome. First time in our lifetime. But it's time to get there, and it's time to do something when we get to the playoffs, and that's winning a playoff game. And even if that happens, you should not be satisfied winning a playoff game. This is the league. You play to win the game, and you play to win the games to win the championship. And that championship is a Super Bowl.
And now I'm not trying to get into an argument with you because I'm in the Christmas spirit right now. I got my Oh Snap gingerbread sweater, and so I'm not trying to get into an argument. It's Christmas time in the Christmas spirit, but you also said that they don't really have a signature win. Sean McDermott doesn't have a signature.
Well, that was before the Steelers game, and I don't want the Steelers losing 3 in a row to take away from that. You know,
hindsight being with what it was, I think it could have. It is a signature win. But I don't think it's as much of a signature win as you think. I still think that the 49ers are a better team, and that win was a lot more I don't know, more of a signature win. The win over Seattle,
Yeah.
more of a signature
I
win.
don't think the win over Seattle was a signature win.
No, I'm saying I think it was. I'm saying what I think is more of a signature win against Pittsburgh.
Right, but James doesn't think that was a signature win.
James didn't really think they really had a signature win.
Under McDermott, yeah.
Who was coaching the Seattle game?
McDermott?
Yeah, hey, ask him who was coaching the Dallas game last year on Thanksgiving.
And Dallas was a horrible team last year. It's on national TV on Thanksgiving. I mean, yes, it's a big stage, but to me, that doesn't just automatically mean it's a signature win because they won. Yes, they played great. Yes, they won on national TV on Thanksgiving, but
Okay, what about the Rams win this year?
that was a very good win as well. The Rams just lost the Jets. I mean, that shows you what team they are, you know?
You're just
We should talk about that. We should talk about the Jets. Like, you know, who was the kid who you had on who was the Jets fan? You should have brought him on today.
that was Frank Vasquez. Frank's a busy man, James.
Oh, he has a job. He does stuff, I guess.
Yeah, he does. A lot of people have jobs.
Yeah, well, it's Christmas Eve.
We all don't just go get autographs, James.
Yeah. Well, I can't do that now because of Corona. You know, whenever this vaccine comes out and this stupid coronavirus ends, hopefully we'll get back to that. See, I got some of them back here. I got Crosby, Barzell.
All right, enough. So
Okay.
now we're going to build off that. We're going to preview a little bit of the game with New England on Monday night. Personally, I think they dominated them in the first half. Matt Barkley comes in for the second or the fourth quarter, the entirety of the fourth quarter. I think that's what happens.
If it's out of reach by like midway through the second quarter, do you put Barkley in then?
No, you wait until after the first half. You wait until you have enough of a convincing lead where you know you can get away with your second string offense.
Okay.
I would say, go ahead, Kyle.
Go ahead, Paul. No, after
Go
you.
ahead, Kyle. No, that's you.
Beauty before age, Paul.
I would probably agree. I would say fourth quarter would probably be after three quarters, depending on the score. If it is out of reach by halftime, I would bring him in the second half. But I would say we'd probably have the better lead after the third quarter. We've been playing better as of late in the third quarter, so I see after the third quarter us being up big enough where we can put in Barkley.
I think one of the most important things going into this game, treating it as the week 17 before week 17, is it's really much dependent on John Brown's availability. But if you can get him on the field to get some snaps and some passes thrown his way from Allen, I think that'll be important before you really consider what the seeding looks like into week 17 in terms of rest for your stars before the playoffs. So like this, I'm really putting a scenario together that is very much dependent on where you think you can go high enough in the seating or if you're comfortable where you are. But again, if Brown's available and you can get him on the field for some snaps with QB1, I think that's also important before you run the risk of Miami becoming a total wash in terms of you can't go anywhere you like in the seating and nobody really plays more than 15 minutes.
You guys play Diggs? Sorry, Paul.
Oh, I didn't say anything. You're good.
I was wondering that. I wrestled with that. If Brown was available, if you run Brown, Beasley, and Davis instead, but I don't know if they sit Diggs for an entire game. I wonder if that takes off too much of his rhythm. Then you're talking about 2 straight weeks, maybe not having him play much at all.
Right.
I'm even in the same boat too, where I think they win week 16, 110%. If they don't, I'd be very surprised. But I think either no matter what the outcome, I think week 17, I think you treat it like week 1 of preseason. I think you let the starters play the first drive, maybe the second. And then after that, done. Just so, like you said, they get snaps and they're not going into the first week of playoffs completely dry.
Is that even if they don't have the 2 seed locked up?
Yeah.
You think?
Because
they can lock it up this week. If Green Bay beats Tennessee and Pittsburgh loses to the Colts, they lock it up this week for the 2 seed.
Yeah, we got a lot of good games this weekend. So we'll shift gears again, going away from the Bills. We'll go over and we'll preview the games this week. The weekly Priesters picks that, I did okay last week. Week before, not so hot. But first game on Christmas Day, we have Minnesota at New Orleans. I'm going to take New Orleans. I think Minnesota is just playing terrible, and they shouldn't be as bad as what their record is because they do have weapons on offense, especially with Justin Jefferson in there now. Dalvin Cook is probably a top 5 running back in the NFL, and I made the claim a couple weeks ago that they don't know the identity of their offense because I think they pass too much when they have a really good running back. But I'm taking New Orleans. I think they're going to have a big bounce back after dropping 2.
What's the spread? Do you have that in front of you? Because I feel like that's going to be a closer game than we think. Because I don't think Breeze looked good at all in his
He
return.
started off 0 for 6, I think, or 0 for 9.
First time in his career, he started 0 for 5 at all. Yeah.
It was brutal. I mean, I don't know if that was him still trying to battle an injury. I mean, I imagine that he's not 100%. I mean, the dude broke like 11 ribs and had a collapsed lung or something like that. And so there's no way he was 110% already. But I think it was also, too, it's just he wasn't acclimated to game action yet because he had a couple weeks out. But I do not have the spread. That's Cole's department. So we'll have to get his take 5 that he always does. But then Saturday, we got 3 games. Tampa Bay at Detroit, San Fran at Arizona, and Miami at Vegas. I'm going to take Tampa Bay over Detroit because, I mean, I think for Tampa to make noise in the playoffs, they need to end hot. And Detroit, to me, isn't a good football team. So I think that one should be easy. But who knows? I mean, Matt Stafford kind of has been playing out of his mind at some points this year, too. So he could take advantage of that Tampa defense, yes.
Is San Fran actually at Arizona, or are the Cardinals the road team in their own building?
I think the Cardinals are the road team in their own. No, okay.
No, I'm pretty sure Arizona's home. I mean, that's what it was
Are they
listed.
home?
I could look. It was listed like on the NFL website.
Because I just thought that would be quirky. It matters nothing without people in the seats, but I just thought it was interesting.
You're right. You're right.
And then I'm going to take Arizona for that. I think Arizona is actually going to start trying to make a case. I got to double check the standings, but they're going to be making a case because they have there's the Seattle and LA matchup on Sunday as well. And I believe that they could still potentially win the division. I have to double check on that again. But San Fran's been playing down, way too banged up. Arizona's actually been playing a little bit better too, since they kind of went through a tough skid. Miami and Vegas. Vegas is just, I'm lost for words with them. They started off so good, but it's just your typical John Gruden year. I'm taking Miami in this one, but Miami's legit. They scare me in the AFC East. They scare the hell. And the only thing that really I don't get too uncomfortable about is Tua still. I don't think Tua is anywhere close to being able to run an offense that makes you say, oh, damn, they're going to be a really good playoff team. But it's that defense. That defense is absurd. No one wants to chime in.
Oh, I agree. I don't think two is there yet, but yeah, I agree.
Like you're going to say something, James, which is why I had that awkward pause. I thought you always have a rebuttal for everything. I'm just
not everything, but
next one we got Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. That's now we're starting with Sunday games. Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. I think Indy takes it, and I think they take it easy.
I think Indy's defense will just shut down the Steelers' offense the way
I could legitimately see Pittsburgh only putting up like 10 points.
Could you see if Indianapolis wins, some player of the Colts doing a dance at the end of the game on the Steelers logo?
If that happens, I think I'd be even more disgusted than with Juju dancing on other teams'
logos. He said he's done dancing. I don't know if you saw that. He said he's done.
Yeah, I ranted about that to open up the show. It's pathetic. It's I said earlier,
unnecessary target. He's creating an unnecessary target.
It's bulletin board material.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's like that's if you're gonna act like you're 16 years old, it's like, I mean, just leave it to the 16-year. I said this earlier. Leave it to the 16-year-olds who are making more money off TikTok than I ever will in my entire life. Like, it's pathetic that a grown-ass man is going to dance on another team's logo for clicks before a game. Next matchup, Giants at Baltimore. Part of me wants to say that the Giants defense is actually going to come back with a great game and be able to shut down Lamar, but the other part of me says that Baltimore is just going to steamroll the Giants. I could see this being one of those weird games where the Giants come out with a really great showing. But I think Baltimore is going to take it. So I'm taking Baltimore. Next one is Atlanta at Kansas City. I think this one's just going to be a wash, Kansas City. Chicago at Jacksonville. I think this one could be a wash as well, Chicago. Especially now that Jacksonville is playing for the number 1 overall draft pick. I think they just fall over and die for the rest of the year.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead, James.
If the Browns lose to the Jets on Sunday, they should walk home from New Jersey. Walk home.
I mean, I don't think there's a reason why that they should lose.
I know, but I'm saying if they do. But I agree. I agree with you.
So I'll jump to that one. I'm taking a Cleveland win, and what that's going to do is that's going to set up a Week 17 matchup between the Browns and the Steelers for the division, and that's good television.
Yeah,
it's good,
Give me the
fantastic.
Browns if that's the case.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
and if that does happen, Cleveland takes it for me. So I'm already going to throw my prediction out for next week. Then we got Cincy at Houston. I'm taking Houston. Houston has had the most frustrating last couple of weeks. Like every game has came down to the last like 2 minutes, and they fumble or they have a turnover, and it's just game over when it's a one possession game. But I think this is the week. Go ahead.
Name me a team that has wasted the best years of a quarterback's life more than the Texans have wasted Deshaun Watson's.
The Buffalo Sabres.
All right, I wasn't prepared for that, but good one. Can we find a nice landing spot for Deshaun Watson where he could be properly utilized
San
and
Francisco?
appreciated for what he is?
I would say probably the only other team that has completely wasted the years of a very good quarterback is Detroit.
Ooh, good one. Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the only other one that I can really think of off the top of my head.
I mean, they at least got to a Super Bowl. They didn't waste, but I mean, the Falcons with Ryan, but it's not exactly similar. It's not exactly.
A little bit, but at least they made it to the Super Bowl.
Right. And then they blew 23 league.
Carson Wentz, you can make an argument for that as well. But Kyle doesn't want to talk birds. He's mean mugging me right now.
I don't want to talk about that team.
You want to talk about a different bird team?
No, James.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the Cardinals.
Next game, Carolina at Washington. So they're both questionable right now, but I think if Alex Smith and Antonio Gibson play, this is a win for Washington. If not, it's Carolina. I'm a lot more confident in this team with Alex Smith under center, and especially with Antonio Gibson running the ball. So I think if they're both, I mean, I think even if just Alex Smith is active, I think Washington takes it. And honestly, who knows if Dwayne Haskins is even going to play with all that stuff that was in the media recently.
Took first team reps yesterday.
He did.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
If they had any other option, he wouldn't even be dressed. But I mean, they really don't.
Yeah. So I'm taking Washington if Alex Smith plays. If not, I'm taking Carolina. If I can do that, I'll have to phone Cole and see if that's allowed. Next one, we got Denver at LA. The Chargers. I have picked the Chargers for like the last 4 weeks, and every week it's came back to bite me in the ass except for one. So I'm going against the Chargers this week. I'm going Denver.
Now the Chargers will win.
Yeah, they probably will. Next matchup is the Rams at Seattle. This is going to be a really good game, and it's a tough one to pick, but I'm going to take the Rams. I just think they're the better team. And I think after coming off of a loss to the goddamn Jets, I think it's going to just, light a fire under them, and they're going to come out guns blazing. So I'm taking the Rams. I mean, they just have so much talent, from offense to defense. And I really don't even know how they lost to the Jets.
It's because Jared Goff is a fraud.
See, I want to say the same thing, but there's some games where he looks elite. It's just the problem with that team is they have all the talent. It's just they're extremely inconsistent. And we saw that last week. There's games where they will look like they could steamroll the Kansas City Chiefs, but then there's games where they lose to the Jets. It's like there's hasn't been that consistency. And they have that essentially the same team, if not a better team than they did when they went to the Super Bowl. So we'll see. Next one, sorry, Kyle, it is Philly at Dallas. I'm taking Dallas. I think the Jalen Hurts show is going to be over. And I think it's only a matter of time before Jalen Hurts looks like trash, and then it's just going to cause a giant controversy for Philly to blow up again. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't really like him as a passer. I think he's great at getting out of the pocket and rolling out, but last week he did look good throwing the ball a little bit, but I'm still not completely bought in on him yet. So I'm taking Dallas. Next game, the Sunday night game. It is Tennessee at Green Bay. Another one. This is going to be a great Sunday night game. I'm going to pick Green Bay solely for the fact that, again, it's so hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers. To me, he is also probably my MVP as well, or runner-up to Derrick Henry, even though, again, he's playing who I think is the MVP. But teams have shown that when you stop Derrick Henry, you stop the Titans. And I think that that's something that Green Bay is going to be able to accomplish. The only way that Tennessee really dominates teams is when they get out to an early lead, and then they just ride Derrick Henry the rest of the game. And I don't think that Green Bay is going to let that happen. I think they're going to stop Derrick Henry, and I think they're going to throw all over Tennessee. Their defense is not anything than what it used to be in years past. They're still decent. They're still physical. They're still fast, but they're not what they used to be. So I'm taking Green Bay. And then everyone's favorite, Buffalo at New England. Taking Buff. Taking Buff. So, James, this is the part of the show where I'm going to let you decide, because you have been nagging us for the last month and a half that you want to talk about stuff. It has to be football related. You have a panel of 3 other humans. You're gonna run the show right now. I know.
Oh boy.
Kyle's rolling his eyes right now, but you have a
I'm
panel.
watching a commercial.
You have a panel of 3 humans. You get 2 topics that you can introduce to us. Paul walked away because he didn't want to.
How many? 2?
You have 2 topics that we get to talk about. And then you can introduce
I'm right here. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, one second.
Yeah. 1 second. What? Oh, Parks. Oh, okay.
Oh, just in time, Parks.
Parks, can you hear us all right?
What'd I miss?
All right. Just
You got here just in time for fun.
yeah, just in time. We're getting close to wrapping up the show. One of our last segments, I am letting James run the show. So we'd like to welcome Andrew Parks onto the show, and James Misercola now is going to introduce 2 topics that we're going to talk about, because James has been wanting to do this for a while now. It has to be football related. NFL football, not college football. No college football, no Michigan.
Wait,
no
before this,
hockey.
I want to hear what Parks' naughty and nice list is. I think we should go through that real quick.
We'll run through that real quick. So Parks, we did a variation of bumper bounce. So real quick, you don't really need to give me an explanation, but so Lamar Jackson, would you put him on your naughty or nice list?
Naughty.
Cleveland Browns on your naughty or nice list?
Nice.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers on your naughty or nice list?
Naughty.
Chicago Bears.
Naughty.
Former Buffalo tight end, now making an impact in Washington, Logan Thomas, naughty or nice?
Nice.
And the New York Giants.
Nice.
All right, James, it is your time to shine now, my guy. 2 topics. Has to be somewhat relevant. It can't be like talking about the Buffalo Bills from like 1987 or the Jets of the past. It needs to be current.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the current. Let's talk about the present, and let's talk about the future. So if you're the Jets, and where I'm talking in theoretical terms here, because it's still not guaranteed. I mean, theoretically, the Jaguars could win a game and the Jets could lose out. So nothing's guaranteed yet. If you're the Jets and if they don't get the number 1 pick, what do? Do you take Fields? Do you take the kid from BYU? What do you do? Do you stay with Darnold? What do you guys do?
I'll let Parks start. Parks just joined. I'll let Parks start.
If you're the Jets, you take the best available. I don't know. I feel like Sam Darnold can still play the quarterback position pretty well. It's just their team's a mess.
Coaching.
But I mean, it could be like a Josh Rosen thing where, they take the guy first round, doesn't really work out, and they go and they get the guy Kyle Murray, and it works out for him. So I think you take best available, and probably the quarterback position. I don't know who else would be a stretch for that number 1 pick. So that's a good one. Heavy wide receiver class as well this year, though. So I don't know if they would go for a skill position. Probably just take best available.
Kyle, what do you got?
I think we've talked about this the entire show. We talked about teams in that middle ground, especially the Bears, having a good idea of what Mitchell Trubisky's career in Chicago is going to look like now, and just kind of delaying the inevitable in a way by running the risk of running these good winning streaks and feeling like you have a chance to stick with Trubisky, even though he's wronged you in the past. I feel like the Jets are close, if not too close with that. So yeah, I agree with Marcus 100%. If you fall out of position to the first pick and Trevor Lawrence goes to Jacksonville, then give me Fields. Exactly what he said. Arizona did it, and they're benefiting from it. I mean, yes, they're not front runners in their division right now, but Hopkins and Murray is a good tandem to build off of. And if you can find a skill position in free agency, or find one in the second or third round to pair with Fields if need be, then fine. That's a great start.
And Paul?
I think if Darnold had something around him, he'd be a good quarterback, but he just has nothing. The coaching is not there, and he has no weapons around him. So
Le'Veon Bell isn't a weapon.
Le'Veon, I don't think – no, not really anymore.
Le'Veon Bell isn't a Jet.
Not anymore.
He's saying he had Le'Veon
Was a
Bell.
Jet.
Look what happened.
Oh,
Yeah, he had, but I didn't see him putting in any impact. But like I said, they don't have any coaching. They don't have anything like around their quarterback. So either way, if it's Darnold or they draft Justin Fields, I think whatever quarterback it is still going to struggle for at least a few years down the line.
yeah, I think if you get rid of Gase, which should be a no-brainer at this point, I think you have to take a quarterback, and that quarterback should probably be Justin Fields if you're not number one. But if you don't, again, I mean, we talked about this, James, a couple weeks ago when you were on the show, where no matter what, you need to hit a home run on basically every single one of your picks. And if you have that number two, you need to hit a home run, whether it's a quarterback or it's got to be someone that's going to come in and make an immediate impact in your organization. So again, I'm not the general manager of the Jets. I haven't studied the draft class. But if you're not taking Justin Fields, it better be someone that you know you're going to hit a home run on. So, all right, your last topic, James. That was a good one. Interesting topic of discussion. Good job.
Okay, thanks. Say you're an expansion franchise in the NFL. You're starting out from scratch. I think most everyone would agree on the quarterback you take. It doesn't have to be a head coach. It could be a current assistant coach. Who would you hire as your head coach for the expansion team?
I'm going to take the easy answer, and I'm just going to say Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Wait, I don't understand this question.
So you're starting a team out from scratch in the NFL. So it's an expansion team. Who would you hire as head coach?
Can you take another head coach? Can you take Bill Belichick? Or is that
there's
cheating?
so many variables.
All right. I guess that's not a good question. Let me think of
That's just
another.
way
No,
too
it's a good
open-ended,
question.
like-
Just rephrase it.
Yeah.
If we could take any coach.
Yeah, any coach. Yeah.
If we could take any
Like
coach.
even other head coaches, you can take anybody
Or
you want.
assistants, yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking
I'm
Bill
taking
Belichick.
Bill Belichick too.
Yeah.
He's the best coach in the NFL.
Okay. All right. Let me just close this out here. First off, I hope everyone is a happy, healthy, whatever you celebrate. Happy New
James, we
Year.
didn't even get to the last call, my guy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
James,
Yeah,
just
what's
because
your
I said you
question?
were running the show.
You just tried to close out the whole show.
Yeah, just because
Well,
I
you
said
said it was my segment. It was my segment. So
yeah, but just that segment, my guy. All right, so now we're getting into it. This is the last call. And again, this is why I wanted to have you guys here, because this is what was supposed to be our Christmas themed and Christmas special episode. So last call, Christmas and the holiday season, boys, we know it's all about a few things. Giving thanks, showing appreciation, spreading cheer, the Christmas cheer. But most importantly, family. So this show is supposed to be a little bit more Christmas themed than it actually was, with the idea stemming from the creative mind of none other than Cole Johnson. But today we went on without him because last night he told me that we could not go a whole week without doing the show. And I know we're not live right now, but we're filming and we're going to get it up later. But he was very straightforward, said we couldn't go a whole entire week without it. We know how much of a hardworking dude he is, and when he wants to do something, he's just going to go all out. So today, I think I speak on all of us, kind of give thanks to him, show our appreciation, not just to him, but also his family, just for raising and molding just an unbelievable human being. And they're going through a tough time right now, and that's why Cole is not here. A personal family matter. And again, I think on behalf of all of us, I think we'd like to wish the entire Johnson family, give them nothing but our thoughts and prayers during this tough time for them. It's been incredibly tough this whole entire year. And then to top it off with what they're going through right now, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. And we hope that you find peace during these times. So again, our thoughts are with you. And that is the last call. If you guys want to say anything, the floor is yours.
For sure. That was good.
Yeah, because we wouldn't be here without you, Mr. Johnson. So
He does, in fact, deserve these awards.
Cole Johnson deserves these awards. So again, I also want to thank you guys for joining us on the show today. You know, a lot of us, you know, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Cole, if it wasn't for Kyle starting this up. So this is where I'm going to, you know, give my thanks to you guys as well. Thank you for helping me out with doing this. I wouldn't have been able to do it solo. So, and then to all you watching, wherever you are, if you're gonna be watching on YouTube or on Facebook, whatever it is, like, thank you for watching as well. Wish you guys, you know, a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. This is Beyond the Box Score. I'm Connor Priester, joined with Paul Barker, James Misercola, Andrew Parks, and Kyle Powell. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
Go Blue.